Welcome to the Azor the Lawbringer Brawl Deck Tech. This is brought to you by MTGO Traders and Cape Fear Games. So, whether it's digital magic or paper magic, we've got you covered. So, let's take a look at Azor the Lawbringer, Mr. Banehammer himself. So, it's going to be two colorless, double white, double blue. Azor has flying. Whenever Azor enters the battlefield, your opponent's not going to be able to cast instant or sorcery spells. And then, whenever Azor attacks, you may pay X, white, blue, blue. If you do, gain X life and you draw X cards. Long story short, Sphinx Revelation on a stick. Now, what are we doing with Azor the Lawbringer? This is definitely going to be your traditional blue-white control style deck. We're going to be sitting back, letting our opponent develop their board state. We're going to be drawing cards, countering stuff, and then using board wipes to help us get down Azor, and then refuel our hand and kind of help us close the game out. So, one of the things that we are definitely going to be running in here is, we do have a 6 converted mana cost commander in the Brawl format. Is we want to run some ramp in here. We've got Manalith and Cultivator's Caravan. There's going to be some random situational things to where we may end up crewing the Cultivator's Caravan for 3, but for the most part, it's going to be in here for that ramp to kind of help us get Azor out there a little bit quicker. And we're also running Pyramid of the Pantheon and the Relic. Now, with the Relic, it's actually really good. We can gain 3 life and draw a card. Let's say that we have more than enough mana, and we get we have to have the City's Blessing for that, but it's a good late game to have that activated ability. And with Pyramid of the Pantheon, let's say our opponent's we don't have anything to counter, there's nothing else going on, we can start putting those brick counters on there, and it's going to allow us to get some extra mana for that Sphinx Revelation activation off of Azor. Now, onto the control style part of the deck. Some of the control spells in here, we're definitely running a lot of counter spells. We're going to have Spell Pierce, Censor, Disallow. I am running a lot more counters in here than what I'm showing right now. I just wanted to highlight some of the different counter packages that we're running in here. Spell Pierce is going to be great in the Brawl format. Let's say your opponent's going to Windmill Slam, tap out for their Planeswalker on turn 5 or turn 6 or something like that. Leaving up just 1 blue mana for Spell Pierce is going to make you feel, so good. Same thing with Censor. We can go for that Force Spike with 1 mana, or we can simply just use that cycling. And then Disallow is going to be great for the deck, and that allows us, it kind of really keeps us open. Let's say our opponent's going to go for a Planeswalker Ultimate. We can use Disallow to counter that activated ability or some sort of triggered ability, or simply just use it as a counter spell. Outside of that, we also have a little bit higher converted mana cost spells. We have stuff like Insidious Will and Spell Swindle. Spell Swindle is absolutely great for the deck. It's going to be on turn 5 where we're looking to go for it. Let's say our opponent taps out for their commander or their Planeswalker. We can counter that spell, use that extra spell to get down Azor the Lawbringer, and then have some extra mana to go for those Sphinx Revelation activations. And then the Will card, it's going to keep us open. Like, you like to have modes on your spells, counter target spell, or we can copy some stuff that our opponent's going to be going for. Now, outside of the counter package that we're running in here, we want to run some board wipe stuff in here to make sure the board's nice and clear for Azor. Running Fumigate, it's going to be a good way for us to clear the board and gain some life. River's Rebuke is going to be the standard version of Cyclonic Riv. We can send everything back to our opponent's hand and let them have some fun as they kind of settle the wreckage. And then we're also running Settle the Wreckage. Exile all attacking creatures target player controls. They search their library for that many basic lane cards put on the battlefield tapped. Now, I'm not entirely sure how Settle the Wreckage is going to handle in the Brawl format. This format is pretty much new, so we'll see how the meta kind of shakes out. But definitely having access to a 4-mana exile all attacking creatures, you do give them a lot of lands to deal with, and there's going to be a lot of basic lands in this format. But it's at least worth trying out as a way for you to at least kind of go for some good board control. Now, outside of the board wipes or board control, we're all running some other good situational control cards. Stuff like Brawl's Expertise, return, bounce some stuff back to the hand, then cast a spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. A lot of our utility card draw spells are going to fit perfectly into a Brawl's Expertise. So you're looking at 5 mana, bounce your opponent's board back to the hand, then cast a draw spell to get ahead on resources. Entrancing Melody, this is going to be a great way for us to gain control of a creature. We're going to have a lot of ramp in here, and we have a lot of mana that we don't know what to do with. So Entrancing Melody is going to keep us open, and as far as whatever sort of creature we're going to go for, if we're going to grab our opponent's big creature, and then allow us to kind of start going V-Sticks from there. And then Searcher Azcantha, it's going to be a great way for us to kind of filter through our deck, and then once we get it flipped, it's going to allow us to even keep flipping through our deck outside of that. We're also running Sorcerer's Spyglass and Fragmentize. This is a format in which Planeswalkers can be your commander, so it's really good to be running Sorcerer's Spyglass, and especially in a control deck, you're going to be able to look at your opponent's hand. Even if you don't have anything to name off of that, you're at least going to be able to get that down and potentially name something or kind of stop their Planeswalker out of the command zone. And then it's always good to just run some artifact or enchantment removal. Fragmentize at 1 mana is going to be great for this actual format. We're also running Brawl in here. Just wanted to highlight Brawl. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Then if we're going to be able to counter a spell, we're going to be able to draw a card and discard a card. So that's going to give us a little bit more card filtering and hopefully allow us to kind of get into spots where we can control the game. Now, especially with Brawl, we have a lot of card draw spells in here. Excuse me. Yes, we have opt in here, scry one, draw card, strategic platings, chart of course. These are all different ways for us to dig a little bit deeper into our deck, and especially if we have Brawl on the battlefield, it's going to be even better that we're going to be able to get that card advantage. Throw in there stuff like Glimmer of Genius and Pirate's Prize. That's another way for us to either scry draw 2 cards, or Pirate's Prize essentially is going to replace itself for 2 mana, getting those treasure tokens onto the battlefield. We can either bank those treasure tokens to use for the Azor activated ability, or simply use it to hold up some sort of counter magic outside of that. Now, once we go for the control aspect of the game, we've gotten the board clear, we keep the creatures off the battlefield, we want to have some sort of finisher, so we have running some good creature finishers in here. We have Cryptic Servant. It's going to be a great thing for us to get down as the game wears on. We're filtering through our deck, we're going for opt, different stuff like that. It's going to get that reduced cost for each instant sorcery card in our graveyard. Torrential Gearhulk is going to turn our graveyard online as a secondary hand for us, so we can use anything at instant speed because we're going to be able to flash it in. And Unesh, pretty much this format is kind of open, so I really think Unesh would have a place in this format, and especially giving Azor a reduced cost off that 2 ability and getting an extra factor fiction as you go for Unesh and then followed up with Azor. Some good value train stuff right there. Now, outside of the creature finishers, we are running some planeswalkers in here. Getting of the Trials, we can go for that +1 ability to kind of stop anything and then use our spot removal to help with that. Dovin Bond to be another way for us to either, keep that card draw filtering if we're not really going to go for that ultimate. And then Jace Cutting Castaway, we can start going for the plus activations or start working towards that ultimate of -5 and get those extra copies of Jace on the battlefield. As Jace sits there and stares, whoa, is that another copy of me? Look at his face. But that's going to be the deck tech. As you can tell, this is a fairly standard blue-white control style deck. This commander is definitely going to be something that's going to allow you to deal with all the threats that are out before you, and then use Azor as either a finisher, kind of like a Celestial Colonnade, and then another way to refuel our hand with that extra mana. So, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.